Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Patrick Dang here. Now, when it comes to sales, of course, you're gonna be asking a lot of questions. After all, salespeople should be talking 20% of the time and listening 80% of the time. But the big question that a lot of salespeople have is, how exactly do you ask these intelligent questions? And a lot of times when you ask these questions, your prospects might clam up, they don't wanna tell you anything, or maybe they'll give you one-word answers. So in this video, what I wanna do is I wanna share my most effective way and simple way to ask intelligent questions. So if you're ready to get started with this video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So this is gonna be my framework when it comes to asking intelligent questions, and it's a 3-step framework. So let's go ahead and do that. So here's exactly how you're gonna ask your intelligent question using 3 simple steps. Now the first step that we're gonna have is making an observation or sharing a statistic. So let's go ahead and write that down. Number 1, observation. So what does that mean exactly? So in any type of situation, you can observe what's going on around you, or maybe you might find some type of statistic from a research paper, and it might be relevant for your prospect. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you an example of an observation or a statistic. So I could say something like this: if I were selling, let's say, digital marketing services to a dental office, and I would say to the dental office, hey, I notice a lot of dental offices in the area are starting to move away from traditional print and mail marketing, and they're moving to digital, right? So that's simply an observation. I didn't give my opinion about it. It's really just stating a fact or something that is happening in the world. Now it's gonna set up for step number 2, which is your perspective. Now, once you give this observation, you want to then give your perspective or opinion on what this observation means and why it's important for your prospect. So in the example where I am selling digital marketing services to a dental office, I can say something like, all right, let's start with the observation first, then I'll just go straight into the perspective. And like I said before, I said, hey, I noticed that a lot of dental offices in the area are moving away from traditional print and mail marketing, and they're going digital. Now, I've noticed based on the people that I work with and what I see in the industry is that a lot of people have trouble when it comes to learning how to do Google marketing, search engine optimization, and Facebook advertising. It's a perspective, right? So the observation is that people are going from traditional to digital. The perspective that I'm sharing is that people who are trying to do this are failing because it's so difficult to handle. Now that's gonna set up for the 3rd step of the intelligent question. That's where I'm gonna ask my question. Okay, so this is gonna be important is because now you're setting up the conversation. So the step number 1 and step number 2, the only goal of that is to set things up so that you can ask a really smart question. So let me go ahead and share how all this works from 1, 2, 3, start to finish, right? And you're gonna see the difference between that versus if I just asked a simple question by itself. So let's go, observation, perspective, question. I noticed that a lot of dental offices are moving away from traditional print and mail marketing, and they're going digital. Now, I noticed that a lot of people in the industry, even though they want to make this change, it can be very difficult because it's really hard to learn Google ads and Facebook ads, especially if you're trying to figure it out by yourself. Now, I'm curious to know from your perspective if this was something you were trying to do. Or I'm curious to know how exactly you're handling your marketing today, right? So when I ask the question in this way, I basically set it up. I let the person know that everyone's going digital, right? And that person I'm talking to might be thinking the exact same thing. I also gave my perspective that people who are going digital usually have trouble. And if that prospect has trouble going digital, they're starting to resonate and really care about what I'm starting to say. So when I ask the question, how exactly are you handling your marketing now? They might say, oh, I tried digital before, but it didn't work. And here's what I did, and and you start diving into the conversation. Now, this is really important because you're framing the prospect. You're getting them primed to realize that traditional print and mail is not the way to go, and they gotta go digital. And you're doing this without even telling them anything. You're not forcing any type of idea on them. You're asking this question to get them to think. And that's why it's called an intelligent question, because you're getting someone to think about what they want in their business, and you're getting them to see how exactly you might be able to help them before you even start selling. And that's gonna be a huge difference between just asking a question, right? So imagine if I met a prospect, like let's say a dental office, and I just said, hey, how are you handling your marketing? And they might just say through traditional print and mail. Why? Right? And it doesn't really lead the conversation anywhere, because it's not a very smart question. You're just like trying to pry information. But if you use these 3 simple steps, the observation or statistic, perspective, and then the question, you really frame your customer to go in the direction you want the conversation to go. And sales is a game, really, it's all about control. It's understanding exactly how to guide the customer slowly, but effectively into the direction you want them to go, so that in the end, eventually, it's gonna be very obvious that they should buy your product or service. But you wanna make sure you ask these questions right, and especially the first question you ask, because that's gonna set the tone for the rest of the conversation. Now, what's gonna happen throughout the entire sales conversation that you have with a prospect? Well, it doesn't just end with the first question. Every question that you ask, you could theoretically use this intelligent question framework to ask intelligent questions, right? You don't have to stop in the beginning, you could say in the middle and also at the end. You don't always have to use this framework every single time you ask a question, but it really does frame your customer to think in a certain way that is more favorable to help you sell your products and services. So with that said, that's pretty much how you are going to ask your intelligent questions using my 3-step process. If you like this video, go ahead and give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you turn on that notification bell because I'm gonna be dropping new videos every single week. Now, if you're looking to really take your sales game to the next level and learn how you can sell anything to anybody, I actually created a free in-depth training that you can take advantage of right now. All you gotta do is click the link in the description and it's gonna take you to the next page to sign up for that free training. So with that said, my name is Patrick Dang and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one.